Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave, a daily update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 being recorded on Sunday, December the 1st, 2024. First, my apologies for being unable to produce and put out a weekly update as I had suggested, or even had my intent was to get that done. I was traveling over the holiday, and things just kind of got complicated, and so therefore I was unable to do it, and I was late getting back here to San Francisco. So I am just going to put together a more daily update, taking a look at the markets, what we did over Friday, and then just adding what we're doing right now as Globex reopens. So to just kind of fill it in, what I was going to present even on the weekly is that here for the NASDAQ, I'm going back and I'm saying that just attempting to put into some finality as to what actually the market is doing and what possibilities we can look at. And so I put that possible that at the November 19th low, which was at 20,382.50, that could have been the bottom of an A wave, or it could have been, and that would have been a minuet A wave, or it could have been the entire minute fourth wave, which would like put this ABC structure up into minuet, and then we have minuet minute four here. If that's the case, then what we're really starting up is how I'm labeling it here, a 1, 2, and we're in a third, which is just really difficult to kind of place inside of what is going on within this market. Because again, as I've been discussing all along, these are just truly just all threes coming up, except for this one, which actually turns into a 5. So it just is very difficult to pinpoint exactly what the market is doing. The fact that there are numerous threes kind of gives me that this is an A, this is a B, and then we get a C, and then that puts in the B wave. Or even a wave 2. I could go with that as well. So again, how I'm presenting is that these are the choices, and it's very difficult. Now, Friday, we half day, but still we got a decent rally. Now, granted, there's like, Black Friday sales and all the different things coming out of the holiday, getting ready for a shorter day, but also still, I believe, an expiration on Friday. So a lot of things kind of happening in there. Now, what is this all continuing to really tell us? That I too really think that what we're really just continuing to put in a series of threes. And so that could actually, if we go here, and this is going to be a C wave up. So it's a sub C wave within a minuet wave C. And what it's not. It's a sub C within a minuet B wave. So again, if this is A, and then we have A, B, and we have a C coming up, that would start to really fit because these are all threes coming into here. And then what would the C waves begin to look like? It's the possibility that it's a diagonal. A diagonal, it would consist of 5 waves, where there would be a diagonal. This would be 1, this would be 2. And what we're coming up with is a of 3, and then we're putting in a small b of 3, and then we're going to end up back up. And at best, what I can come up with is that we should break above 21,089, which is that, actually it's not. Let me just put this in, see exactly what it is. The high is 21,027. But that doesn't make sense. 21,081, that makes sense. So that high being 21,081 could just be, again, if we're in there, the A of the 3, the B of the 3, and then we're coming back up in the C of 3. So it's an ABC wave 3. I believe that we can project up and say that, well, if we should turn. Market can certainly put in a 4 here, but we should turn and head back up again, and then again get the maybe to 21,277. Ultimately, though, we're looking for this. If indeed it is within the minute wave 5, so this would not be including that this is I'll get to that in just a minute. Excuse me. I know I'm kind of getting a little caught up in my own thoughts. But if I'm just working it as we're still within, that this is minuet wave A, and we're looking for minuet wave B, and that the C wave is turning into a diagonal, then I'm looking for like 21,277 for some resistance levels. Ultimately, though, I think I would still like to see it could get a little bit higher, but we could get a third up into here, do a 4, and then come in. Or this is 1, this is 2, A, B, C, 3, get above that level, 21,081. We come back down in a 4. So it's just going to continue to 3 wave us to infinity. And then coming back up to put in that C sub-minuet wave C, to put in the minuet wave B, and then we come back down in that C wave. Now that still remains out there. Now I'm just going back because I've been talking about this for a while. And it's now kind of diverging a little bit away from the S&P, which I'll get to in just a moment. The S&P does look like it had finished this minute wave 4, pretty much where I'm putting this one, saying, the possibility that it could be. But I have to tell you, if that's the case, then I'd have to think that we're still in a 5, and that 5 is turning into a diagonal. 1, 2, ABC 3, 4, and then a 5. I would expect it to, if it is inside the minute wave 5, then I'm going to be looking for it to break above this high, which is 21,340 or 341. Now, bringing this out and taking a look at the 4-hour chart and seeing what we have above it, we have 21,665, 21,755, all up in this area that, could come into play. The intermediate third. So again, are we getting up here to, this is going to be wave 4 and we're in wave 5? It needs to pick up the upside. I have to say that. So I'm thinking, now that we have Thanksgiving behind us, now that we have all the larger earnings reports are all done, they're all out. We know who won the election, et cetera, and moving forward, what can the market start to look forward to? And I think if we get back on track to continue the rally, then it needs to pick up that pace. And that would be in line with kind of what we saw on Friday, even though a half day. It was a decent upside day, even though it's a shortened session. So based on that, I'm kind of going to go with, we've got the two, both do suggest higher. And both actually suggest either it's a C wave, which is putting in a diagonal, or it's going to be the minute 5th wave, which is putting in a diagonal, because everything is just working into 3s and 3s and 3s all the way up. So, but under either case, I'd be looking for the market to move higher tomorrow. And my favored is, believe it or not, is going to be, I'm leaving them both as equal, but it's that minute wave 5 is in play, and that the NASDAQ will pick up the pace for itself. So when I take a look at the moving averages, let me just go out to the daily and go very quickly to look at those moving averages. They're not bad, as much as it is kind of sideways. They're continuing to point higher, and we have them, they're in alignment to continue to move higher. So as sideways, chop, and 3s as it is, the moving averages continue to suggest we have higher highs to put in before this is all done. Quickly go over to the S&P. what we got going on in the S&P, bringing it back down. Let's start on that hourly chart. On Friday, even though half day, we did break to an additional new all-time high, and that came out at 6,060 here in the futures market. Now, so here I'm not giving one way or the other. I am basically saying this is minute wave 4 finished at that November 19th low, and that we're in minute wave 5 and it's rolling out in what I feel could be pretty much a clean 5. It's still very difficult. And I'd have to do the same thing here, where if this was 1, and this is going to be more drawn out because this is actually still, when I come down here and I put it on the line chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could leave it as a 3 if I had to, but I'm thinking that that's A, and then this is where, again, moving it on the line chart, it's like, well, what else is going on here? A 5 wave down in a rally point, it just doesn't make sense to have occurred. So, which is why I tend to leave it as a 3. And then again, because of the close, the bar closes, it does present a different story, but inside just the bar, the line chart presents a different story. The bar chart would allow a 3. But then again, we have all these coming in as 3s. So is it going to be, again, we have this running move where this is 1 and this is A, B, C, 2 here. And so that leaves that's a 5. And then we have a ABC 3 or ABC 3 wave, another ABC 3 wave, and then this kind of going up. So this is A, B, C, B, C, and then wave 2 comes up here. And it's a running 2. Then we start again, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 of 3, 4, and we're inside wave 5. Now, of minute 5. So these would all be down into this minuet degree. Either that or I'm taking it where this could be minuet 1, minuet 2, move it up here. In fact, I like that a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and move that. Put that up here as a running 3 and then change this. And we're going to activate it. I'm going to put this up here, which is going to change that upside just a little bit and allow for some additional room. So a running 2, and still we're going to put it on what we can look for here, where wave 3 would be 1.618 times the length of wave 1, and that would come in at 6,073, 74. So that leaves us open here to where we have 1, 2, possibly a 3, 4, or 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah, 3, 5, a 3 up here, and then this is a bizarre little 3 waves down, and we're still finishing up that 3rd wave, and that maybe got done here. We come back down in a 4 off of this, and I got to bring it down to the 15-minute because you can see how congested it is to see, well, what is this all going to look like? And this could be a very quick little A, B, and then we come back down in a C. So again, the market's not being real clear or actually easy. It really is not. And so it just presents it to be very difficult to put a label on it. And again, moving it back out. But I still do feel that before all is said and done, as we're now seeing here in the S&P, that the market is going to get up to these higher levels. And I think, we could still have a stronger correction coming off. So in other words, I can, even with that high, remember I lift these up. What these represent is where an irregular B wave would come in and the 4 would still be in progress. So these drop down a degree. It's an ABC for sure, but it's just minuet wave A. And then this is A and the B maybe. And we're coming up on a C wave. And in that case, we can get up to here or possibly even up into higher levels and still come all the way back down. And then we'd be looking for something to bring us back to 5,800. And that all within the next couple of weeks. And then bring it all the way back down. And then rally yet again. Don't forget, unless I can figure this to be minute wave 5, we'd be finishing now. And then again, what we're looking for there is it moving up into these resistance zones that would be for the completion of the minor and the minute. This would be minute. And actually, so I got to fix this just a little bit here. So we got, yeah, I didn't get my colors right. So that's the minute. This is the minute, and that's the minute. And this one, I don't think it's going to happen. So let's put that up there. Get the right color. So here, minute 5. So 61, almost 61.92, we'll call it. So almost 6,200 for the completion point for minute wave 5. That I think is possible. Here we have just the 3 coming in at 6,074. Then we have irregulars there, possible. But if it's going to finish up this 5th wave, then I think it goes right through. And then we have these. And again, if this is a 3 and we come up here, we do a 4, and then we're coming back in a 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'd be looking for up into this zone to finish the whole move. These would come down. So I don't mean to be more confusing, but that's kind of what the market is doing. But the S&P did go up and make another new all-time high basis of futures. So I think that it is still within this minute 5th wave up to complete minute wave 5, minor wave 5, intermediate wave 3, and then we begin that larger intermediate 4th wave correction. So we have a couple of weeks we can get up there and finish this. And then whack, the market gets hit hard as that intermediate 4th wave begins. Let's sit through tomorrow. And again, I will try to put more detail into this on tomorrow after we get tomorrow's trade in. There's just not enough to go through on the Globex sessions that we had. We had a Globex session on Wednesday night. We had a Globex session on Thursday that went into Friday morning. And then we had a shortened regular session here in the US on Friday. So this is the Globex opening again through all of that. So we're going to see. But right now, I do believe upside downside now, just to kind of put some layers around it. I actually don't see the market really falling apart. But where do we have support? Well, we have right now it's resting on the 8. We have support coming in on the, let me just do this and bring it down so we can see it. We have it on the hourly. We have it at the hourly 20, which is sitting at 6,037. Then we have it at the hourly 50, which is 6,029. A break there. We have price support at 6,018, then 6,000. And then just below all that, we have the hourly 200, which I think if we come down in a 4 or just a corrective move, I think we should continue to hold above 6,000 before we rally again. So let's put it that way. Again, my apologies for not being able to update over the weekend. And let's see if the market and me can get back on track here. And the next update will be on Monday, December the 2nd.